Hello guys, welcome to another video. And I would try my best to keep it short, but every time I start to talk about something, I get so passionate about the topic, whatever the topic is. And what happens is I get carried away and I go on tangents, and it ends up 20 something, okay, 20 some minutes. All right, so at that point, why would I stop? I would just keep on making more time and then drop a big video, and try my best to clip several small videos out of it. So anyways, this one, I'm thinking of just questions. All right, just questions. Okay, so recently I got two comments engaging on my video, which was a blast for me. Thank you for it. And I have responded both of you on the same comment line. So keep on engaging. I like that. I like that you also follow up with what I am posting. Anyways, so the question is, why would an all powerful, all seeing, all knowing God, all good God require by law, by commandments, that his creation give thanks unto him? Like, just like the most recent video that I did, in which I was talking about how humans, like, the only reason why we crave, okay, we crave a purpose in life, we want an answer for what is the purpose of our existence. The reason why we want that is because we have nothing to correctly put us in our place. Because we think so highly of ourselves, we want to find, or we want to validate that our existence means something. But if we were not among the higher echelon of species, if there was another species that either going to coexist with us or is going to come and show us a totally different new perspective, okay, if that ever happens, then the question will shift from what is our purpose in the or else what is our purpose in life, from that to what is their purpose in our planet, okay, in our ecosystem. All right, so the only reason why we question ourselves and we try to find an answer, and we want a validatory answer for it, we want an external factor to give us this answer, why we want someone with higher power or higher authority to come and tell us, okay, this is your purpose and that is why you exist. The reason why we want this validation is just pride. Okay, if we believe that we are part of this nature, all right, nature of this planet and of the solar system, of the universe, of whatever it is, all right, if we just believe that we are part of it and that we on our own don't mean anything else other than whatever we try to give ourselves, whatever meaning we try to bestow upon us, if we are happy with that, all right, we wouldn't ask the question. But the same question is then asked by God, right? Like, God requires us to give thanks unto him. Like, his whole existence is based on the fact that his creation give thanks to him in, like, indefinitely. Okay, and it is required by the commandments, it is required by the Bible and the several stories and the traditions that we keep on, all right, that we give praise unto him. Okay, even in Islam, even in Judaism, even in other religions, all right, when it comes to, you see, anyways, another tangent. So in almost all these Western religions, all right, you have this clause of God created us, therefore we are forever in debt to him. Okay, so just imagine, all right, it wasn't your choice to be created. Okay, now most of the believers will try to pull this out in a way that I am trying to be ungrateful of the fact that I am living, all right. But in fairness, in total fairness, all right, imagine where you are, the listener, all right. So if you are in a better place and you have better things to do and you have everything figured out in your life, good for you, God bless, go ahead, all right. But if it is not so, and if you are someone who is struggling, if you have problems in your life, all right, but you're somehow making it through, And if you are even worse than that, if you have everything, like everything, the cards that you have been dealt is total shit, and you have nothing to do, and you are in a very very devastated place and you don't know what to do, all right? So whichever two positions you are in, other than the position of bliss, like total happiness, like everything is okay for you, okay, other than that, okay, most of us will be on the letter, right, on the two of the letter examples. So if that is the case, all right, and if we are suffering and if we have problems to deal with, all right, why do you think that this life is any good? Okay, like who decided that your life have to be this miserable, or who decided that your life is going to be this happy? Who had the authority to do so? It was God, right? So God decided that you would live a life like this. God decided that your starting point in life is going to be either this miserable or this easy. Okay, whichever way you try to put it, all right, it was not your choice. So your existence here, my existence here, regardless of how happy I am or how sad I am, is not on me. I did not decide. Just like your parents were the ones who chose to give birth to you, who chose to have a child, and that child being you. So if they did not do that, you wouldn't exist, and therefore you wouldn't be in debt to them. The fact that they gave birth to you is what is going to tie you down in responsibility. But that being said, all right, if that's all they did to you, okay, like if your parents gave birth to you, all right, and then acted the same way God is acting, which is they go invisible, right? You never know about them, you never get to talk to them, you only send a message, you don't get a reply, and even if you get a reply, it's vague as shit, all right? And it says it works in mysterious ways, everything is a blessing coming from your parents, all this magical imaginary stuff, all right? So if your parents acted out the same way God is acting out, would you call your parents good parents? Would you call your parents caring parents? Would you call your parents model parents? No, right? Like the best case scenario for parenting are the parents who are very hands on, who are always there for the kids, all right? Who try to understand where the kids are coming from and like hope for the best and try to give them the best they can have. And why do parents try to do that? It is because the reality of it is not that the child is in debt to the parents. That is not the case. But the fact that it is the parents' responsibility, as they were the ones who decided that this child should be born. It is the parents' responsibility to create the future in which the child can prosper. All right. So the notion of a child is going to be responsible for their parents, while it is a moral thing, all right, while it is a moral thing, while it can also be considered an ethical thing to do, right, it is in no way, shape or form going to be the reason why you should do any of it. Okay, you cannot, like, if your life is good and if you're having a great time, then of course you have the responsibility to like help your parents out, because the only reason why you came to existence, and also on top of that your life is good, is because your parents had to go through the difficulties and the troubles that they had gone through. So it's fair that you do whatever it is that you have to do. But say you were born to a family which is fucking distraught, and your future is busted too, like you have nothing to do, you don't have a job, you can't go to school because your parents can't afford it, you don't have clothes, you don't have a house, all right, aren't you going to curse your parents? Like if your future is fucking destroyed, all right, and let's say the parents are sick, so they're dying too, so soon they'll go and they'll rest in peace, but then it's up to you to take care of everything else, and there's not much to take care of either. All right, let's imagine, like, what would the children of a, a, a family that is begging in the road think about them? All right, a homeless couple, okay, what would they think of their parents, and how would it affect them? All right, so in no way can you only justify the existence to be a good thing, because there are bad outcomes as well. So it's either something gray, okay, which is not bad, not good, something in between, or it is majority bad and minority great. All right, like Bill Gates would be really really happy if God exists and God loved him and he was a good Christian or Catholic or Muslim or whatever it is. Right, so Bill Gates would be happy. But what about the rest? Like Bill Gates is only about 0.01% of the society, of like the whole of society. All right, so there are more people who are struggling than the people who have in excess. Okay, so it is not fair, it is not justice. All right, and yet we are asked to pay respects, we are asked to bow down, we are asked to be forever in gratitude. Like, truly, can you forever be in gratitude for everything that you have in your life? Right, like especially if you belong to the latter part of society, right? How grateful are you going to be? Right, so asking us to kneel down and pray and give reverence, all right, is like you have a slave, all right, who is not going through the best of conditions, but you expect the slave to say, you know, you should be happy that you at least have us as your, overlords and slave masters. If you belong to, let's say, Jamie over there, he would be whipping you every day. If you belong to Marcus over there, he'd be raping you every day. So, we only beat you once or twice a month, so you should be happy that it is I who owns you. But that is not the question, right? The true question is, why do you still have them? Like, if you are a good person, all right, and if the slave is also understandably a good person, all right, shouldn't they be free at all? Like, shouldn't they be left, like, isn't that the moral thing to do, rather than to just boast yourself to be there? Right, so like I don't get that. Like, even if I bypass 99% of the bullshit stories that you have in whatever religion and in whatever books that you have, all right, I just can't jump the fact that God ultimately needs us. Okay, like, there is no reason for it. Right? There is no reason for it. It's not as if he is living off of our prayers, right? So it's either he's all that powerful and doesn't need us, or he's not as powerful and he needs us. Okay, it's either of the two, or three, which he doesn't exist, and it's all bullshit. So the the way a believer would try to flip what I just said is, either they would try to say that I'm trying to be ungrateful, which I'm not. I'm just asking a question, like, what the fuck, all right? And two is that they would try to flip it in a way like, no, even though the books say that you have to pray, it is not as if like God is like living off of your prayers. It's not like that. Like, he's the creator God, he created everything. Like, we are only praying to him such that he does not destroy us, or we are only praying to him so that we are perceived as good model human, or as model creations of what he has created. I just don't buy it. It just doesn't fit me. you know like, nah, not me, not for me. All right, so I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know, I really do not know. Like, whichever version of God you want to believe, all right, if praying is mandatory and the reason why is because whatever reason, all right, I just don't buy it. Okay, like, at least my parents, I know they went through stuff, they had problems, they had to sacrifice, like real sacrifice, like not going on a vacation at the end of the week, not something like that, but real sacrifice where they did not get what they sacrificed back after some time. Okay, because Jesus dying on the cross and then rising from the dead and going back to heaven, which is where he started, that is not a sacrifice. All right, I'm sorry, but that is not a sacrifice. So if it would have been a sacrifice if Jesus died and didn't come back, that's a sacrifice. Okay, that's something I can get behind. But him going back to where he started, like, what did he lose? A weekend? So I don't buy that. But when it comes to most of our parents, right, they're hardworking citizens who like bust their asses out for themselves, for their future, and also us and our future. So that Like, that's a real sacrifice, that's a real effort. But where's the effort from God? If we are to call him the heavenly father, which is the most model father that you can find, which is the highest version of a father that you can find, all right, if that is the case, then model uh, his model existence, his model reasoning, his model teaching should be so profound that our fathers, like the human fathers, have to constantly try to be better versions of himself. But in actuality, God is as equal to a father who just disappears, who's not even that much in contact with their children. So why? What the hell? Why should I care? So yeah, that's a question. I'll leave it at that. 15 minutes, 16 minutes, sorry. All right, bye. Thank you.